Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Govberg, and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Rolex Oysterquartz Day-Date in 18-karat white gold. You can see this Day-Date Oysterquartz on our website, govbergwatches.com. And if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and download our app, Govberg On Time, for the latest news, views, reviews, and multimedia of luxury watches. Now, on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, this watch has the footprint of a 40mm watch, despite the fact that its nominal measurement is 36 across the round of the case. As you can see, the Gerald Genta inspired 70s style of the watch is very much integrated. Bracelet into lugs into case. There isn't really a round portion of the case, so to say it's 36mm understates the visual and physical impression when you see the watch and wear it in person. It wears and it looks like a 40. It has that kind of standout presence. It's 12.5mm thick, so it is fairly slim. As a watch that'll be principally worn as a formal reference, it easily slides underneath a dress cuff or a tight sleeve, and you can see that's aided and abetted by the slope of the faceted, fluted white gold bezel. Now, from lug to lug, it's actually a little bit more compact even than a conventional 36mm Rolex Oyster case for a day-date or a date-just. Those 36mm cases tend to measure closer to 44mm from lug to lug. Here, between lugs, you're actually looking at a 42mm span. So the watch, although it has an impressive visual presence and it feels more massive on the wrist, actually works better on a smaller wrist than those hallowed references in the conventional round case. Now, what changes the game here is that the case itself is more massive. This was an integrated case design pioneered during the mid-70s on the references 1630 and 1530. By the time the Oysterquartz Day-Date and Date-Just launched in 1977, these had become exclusive to the model. So this integrated look is a complete departure from conventional Rolex Day-Dates and Date-Justs. And you can see how the case itself very much has the look of the 1970s Gerald Genta watches, being geometrically inspired and giving way to lugs that taper into a step-down bracelet that's completely different from either the Rolex Oyster or the Rolex President bracelet conventionally seen on day-dates. But you can see that it's beautifully executed in white gold here. You can see that it's polished on the outermost shoulders. The outer links from the top have a gorgeous satin finish, and down the center, the high polish makes for incredible contrast. It's a beautiful example of how simple finishing techniques can really differentiate and articulate the look of a watch, and the same features are present on the case. You can see satin finished on the hoods of lugs, beautifully polished on the flanks. This is an exceptional piece, but it does retain one key feature of the bracelet known as the Rolex President, and that is the crown clasp. Essentially a cue as to the partition point of the bracelet. It remains discreet, subtle, and just as in the conventional watch, it acts as the lever to open up the beautiful white gold clasp. So in terms of aesthetics, the watch is a departure, but in terms of function, the watch is classical Rolex. This is a very traditional, very conservative, handsome, but one could say quintessentially Geneva dial from Rolex. You have the sunburst pattern at center. You have minimal graphics. This is old school Rolex. You have the applied white gold 5-point coronet at 12. You have a subtle, understated railroad minute track outboard, also acting as a second track, with very discreet Roman numerals outboard of each of the applied hour indices. The white gold hands at center, the sapphire crystal, all mark this watch as somewhat ahead of the curve, as it had the sapphire crystal long before its conventional 36mm day-date counterpart. Now, what you can also see is that the watch, with the crown withdrawn, operates effectively as a single quick set. And I think it's important to clarify that much like the reference 1838, it is a single quick set date. And you can see I can make adjustments, but if I want to adjust the day of the week, I have to wheel a little bit. Now, while I'm wheeling and dealing, I'll be manipulating the caliber 5055. Important because it's a thermocompensated Swiss-quartz chronometer. Now that's a rare breed, as very few watchmakers bother to chronometer certify quartz movements. And even among chronometer certified quartz movements, not all have the distinction of thermocompensation, because the fluctuation of temperature of a quartz movement can dramatically change its timing accuracy. Having a thermocompensation circuit in this watch means that it maintains its chronometric performance standards even as the watch is exposed to hot and cold. Now, how accurate is accurate? Well, this quartz chronometer typically will be able to perform within minus 24 seconds or plus 60 seconds per year. That's the kind of precision we're talking about with the caliber 5055. Now, what's also important to note is that you can see the solid caseback, solid piece of white gold. The caliber is built very much like a mechanical equivalent. With a Swiss anchor escapement, it actually has a pallet that's indexing an escape wheel 1 second at a time, so it has a 1 hertz rate. It's driven by a stepper motor, but it's modulated by that traditional escape, and that's why this watch has a very hard and defined tick and tock to it. As the seconds hand advances, put it to your ear, it does have a heartbeat, it does have soul, and because the lever is locking and unlocking, the seconds hand stops dead. There's no slack, there's no vibration built into it. It's very crisp. Now, most of the Oysterquartz models built between 1977 and the end of production in roughly 2001-2002 were of the date-just variety. Of the day-dates built, most were built in yellow gold. And if you take all Oysterquartz models built, date-just, day-date, yellow gold, white gold, you wind up with about 25,000 watches. Rolex builds approximately 1 million watches per year these days. And if you look at that roughly 1,000 watch a year production, remember, most of them are date-just, most of them are yellow gold. To have a day-date in white gold is an exceptional rarity. If you're looking for the one in your office, if you're looking to have the only Oysterquartz day-date in white gold in your Rolex collector circles, if you want something that's just handsome and redolent of an era of innovation and watchmaking style, you want the Rolex Oysterquartz day-date, reference 19019, available on our website, govbergwatches.com.